real life action. Now here's something you don't see too often. Beautifully restored vintage cars and bikes taking to the track for a weekend of fun and friendly competition. This is the Vintage Auto Sprints at Christie, an annual event that brings together collectors from across North America. You couldn't ask for a better setting than the Christie Conservation Area located an hour from Toronto, Canada. It's accessible, scenic, and provides a tailor-made sprints course for the collectors to show off their vintage classics. What sets this show apart from the rest is that many of the entries here are of pre-war vintage. Since the event is run in timed sprints, owners can race their classics without worry of bumping into any of their fellow competitors. And we caught up with one of the organizers for some insight.
One of the things that we looked at when we started pulling it together, there are a lot of events for cars in the 60s and 70s. There's lots of shows for them. There's lots of competition for vintage race cars. But there's very little competition now for the pre-war cars. So the whole idea was to go as early as we possibly could, concentrate on the pre-war guys, give the owners of these cars an opportunity to run them at speed, but not in wheel-to-wheel racing. So a traditional hill climb, or sprint as we had here, is very appropriate for them.
Even though the theme here is a shared interest and love for classic machines and the era from which they came, the fact is that these folks are no slouches on the racetrack. And when you take a good look at what the field has to offer, it's no wonder why. From this 1923 Model T Speedster to this Jap engine Morgan three-wheeler. And let's not forget our two-wheeled entries. Yep, it's open to motorcycles as well. One man who's no stranger to two- and four-wheeled competition is British racing legend John Surtees, on hand for the event to provide inspiration and encouragement to the many in attendance.
If these sort of things got too professional and you had to go and pay here and pay there for everything, and there wasn't a certain degree of just plain enthusiasm and a relaxed atmosphere, then it wouldn't have the same appeal.
But appeal it has, and not just to the hardcore enthusiast. This is very much a family affair with activities geared toward both young and old. One of the crowd favorites is the opening day parade, complete with marching bands. With more than 800 acres of parkland, there's no lack of space to spread that picnic blanket.
To see all the Morgan owners sitting on the grass with their blankets spread out and the wicker picnic hampers having lunch, that's the weekend.
With the growing popularity of vintage sprint racing and the engaging atmosphere that surrounds the event at Christie, we're sure to see many more of this kind of show popping up in the U.S. and Canada. And we promise to be there and bring it all to you. Go to SteelDreamsTV.com for more on the vintage sprints at Christie.